We're here in this nice and sunny mountainside here in the Ardennes forest. We're here in Stavelot, Belgium for round 4 of the Hololive GT3 International Series for this 2022-2023 season. And today we'll be racing at this legendary track we call Spa-Francorchamps. And speaking of this track, Spa-Francorchamps, we'll talk about a track length at about 7 kilometers. Apologies for the slightly misleading track length because we were supposed to say 4.3 miles. It's actually 7,000 kilometers with only 4 meters just jetting out over that 7 kilometers. 20 corners in total. We'll be racing for a total lap count of 29 laps. And we also want to take a look at the target lap time, 2:23.653, but we could go well faster than that, we might assume. It's one of 2 European tracks in the Hololive GT3 International Series this season. And we also want to mention that it's the longest track in Hololive GT3 and has the fewest laps of any 200-kilometer race that we have done so far in this series. Well, it's actually 7 kilometers, 7.004 kilometers, if anyone wants to know. Sorry, excuse me, as we picked on the wrong transitions. Here it is, the spotter's guide for round 4 of this series, where we think some notable changes in the Hololive Indonesia field, particularly Emerson Kurt now taking over Keishan's number 15, Irony U15 Nissan, and obviously Lance Oryx in the Anya Melfissa Lexus. Lance Oryx basically fills in for Emerson Kurt, who have vacated the seat, and that was for basically Gen 1 and Gen 2. And speaking of Gen 2, remember Raymond Pavel? Raymond Pavel had basically declined to go any further in Hololive GT3, and he's replaced by reserve Hololive GT3 driver Fawaz Mori in the Pavolia Rene Honda in the number 01 car. And one of the more intriguing entries that we want to pay attention is Hanaori Miyuki. She is an independent virtual YouTuber wanting to go big on the spotlight, but first she will want to represent one of her Oshis in Hololive, Kubokana-Eru, in the number 54 Nissan starting this round and Spa. Now basically each of these drivers going into a different season will inherit the points earned by the car over the course of the season. So with that out of the way, that is that's basically the 19 car grid that we'll be having here in Spa-Francorchamps. Obviously the Hololive English members are basically unchanged from all this. And speaking of the championship standings here are the standings after the Red Bull Ring, with Carolina de Silva not scoring points and Brendan Makonlee scoring a win at the Red Bull Ring. Both of them have basically tied, but since de Silva wins on countback, and given the fact that de Silva had won the first race of the season, de Silva has the lead over Brendan Makonlee in second. Santi Olivares is not far behind in the Wasamilia Honda, 39 points back. Marion Morris and Mohamed Kachu inside the top 5, making it near Hololive sweep in the top 5 of the standings, with Jeremy Assam down in 8th. Lance Oryx takes over the 208 points that has been earned by Emerson Kearney, Irony U15 Nissan. And of course we have Hanaori Miyuki taking over Aaron Fuller's points, and Fawaz Mori taking over the 72 points earned by Raymond Pavel in the 01 Pavolia Rene Honda. And speaking of the championship standings here, this basic standings doesn't matter too much, as this round, as you may want to know, that it is actually black in color. And since it's black in color, this means that it does not count towards any of the Hololive Indonesia or Hololive English Cup events. So obviously we're just going to get ourselves skipping over into qualifying session. So it's a bright day here in Spa-Francorchamps. It's very amazing here. Everyone is trying to get themselves out on track and all that stuff. I'm Amashan Reza in the commentary booth, and we see Adak-RMS being the first car out in this qualifying session. Joining me alongside me in the commentary booth is Zeke Wimberly alongside me in the commentary booth. So Zeke, we've done commentary in the Japan series earlier a few hours ago when they're racing in Fuji. How's your odds here in Spa-Francorchamps?
I'm a little tired right now, but I've switched from Japan to international. I believe all of these contestants have just an almost equal chance to win. Track is very all-rounder. It's anyone's game, and it just takes the opportunity and gleaming eye to take that.
And speaking of the all-round, as you can see here, we're seeing some early peaks in the racing activity that we're about to witness here in Spa-Francorchamps as Lance Oryx and Aramasi go toe-to-toe between each other. Lance Oryx, of course, making his Hololive GT3 International Series debut, basically filling in for Emerson Kurt. Emerson Kurt now in the IRNEO 50 Nissan. Actually, we want to pay attention to everyone here on how much the sun has set right now in Belgium at the moment. This is the sun right now. As you can see here on the left of your screen, this is the sun. The noon should be right over here, and at this part should be the sunrise. But given that we are close to sunset, and obviously we're looking at the track temperatures being at 7 degrees Celsius, so basically the cold temperature is gonna create a new form of challenge for all these drivers.
Well, I believe it's you really want to warm up just as fast as possible. It's gonna be really interesting to see the strategies all these drivers are going to incorporate into their car to see how they can get through this adversity of a cold track.
Yeah, indeed. As speaking of adversity, the guys with the most adversity are those coming into Hololive GT3 for the first time for their first races. Hanaori Miyuki is one of them. Now you have heard her voices in the qualifying racing stream at Suzuka for the Hololive GT3 Japan series. That's Hanaori Miyuki, and right now she's having her car out on track, obviously representing her Oshi Kobo-Kanairu in that number 54 Nissan. So expectations aren't exactly that high for Miyuki on the driving side, but for the VTuber side, she definitely has a lot of potential in mind.
I wouldn't say that she doesn't have that big of expectations, but I believe we should base it off this race's performance. Like Aquamarine Jensen, very high potential racer, only been in 2 races and has, I believe, qualified for both of the races he's been in, correct?
Yes, correct. He basically got into the main race by qualifying by their race to their respective split, qualifying alone. So Aquamarine Jensen is just one driver. Hanaori Miyuki may not be equal, but let's see what she can do ripping onto this racetrack as we're about to go on board the number 54 Kobo-Kanairu Nissan for a lap here in Spa-Francorchamps. I might try to find a good braking point into the bus stop chicane. Try to get as early of an exit as possible into the main straight. This is where you'll be starting here, unlike the usual GT3 races where you'll be starting at the back straight after turn 1, which is La Source. Break at 100-meter board into La Source. Then try to dig into the inside as much as possible. Get the 3 exit as early as possible. Don't touch the gravel track that has been added recently for the 2022 season onwards. Into the tricky always radiant dip into the curbs. Try to carry as much speed as possible, but Hanaori Miyuki just wanted to keep that car on the track. So obviously she basically muxed up the always radiant section just a bit, but doesn't matter much as she's having a very fast car onto the Lake Home here. Obviously just the back straight here called the I can't remember the name. But whatever the case here, into the next corner here. Now I can't remember the name of this corner either. Man, my mind has been muxed. As you can see here, Fawaz Mori is behind. Mori is right behind Hanaori Miyuki, and into speakers. It's called No Name or whatever, Jackie X or whatever. And here is another tricky corner, high speed, Kuon. Slow just a bit, the downshift a few gears a bit into 4th gear. But you can see here, Fawaz Mori really closing in onto Miyuki. Into the chicane, or rather an S if you want to call it that. Keeping yourself in 3rd gear, don't need to shift down to 2nd unless you're in a exit the curves and then brake and try to make the arc correctly, and then have a very good exit here. This is a very much a flat out section. You just push your pedal to the metal on the floor, no time to rest, because the next corner ahead is Longchimon. You want to carry as much speed as possible. It's not possible at the moment due to its very cold conditions, and you can see the 01 car trying to make a move down the inside. And you can see someone's trying to make a move down the inside of Hanori Mimiki into the bus start, and that's gonna... Oh! That is Brooklers. Brooklers just went off on two wheels there as Hanori Mimiki completes her lap. Brooklers ends up qualifying 7th, and Miyuki down in 15th.
That was a very risky play by Brooklers there. I don't know how he managed to get himself out of that situation. On two wheels, he definitely had a possibility to flip over and making that lap incomplete, but he pulled it off in the end and is now currently sitting happily in 9th place, which I guess isn't the worst, but I mean, there's definitely better that Brooklers can do, and I'd love to see if he can try to do that.
On board at number 85, Sarasvana Lexus. Let's see what Brooklers can do to pass Hanori Miyuki into Lake Combe. That's an interesting place to make your move. Anyways, we're on our second half of this qualifying session, and he's still on the inside. Some crazy action in qualifying. I mean, it's not even the main race, and we're seeing some action now. If, like we mentioned, to have this much action in qualifying, we can't even imagine how the races would end up.
Brooklers has been just, at least to me, has shown himself to be having an undeniable offense right now, overtaking people even in qualifying, which you don't necessarily have to do, but he is going to show the Saplings possibly great victory today.
And right now, Hanori Miyuki is not having much of a pace. As you can see, Mama Cashew is also going to try to put up a good fight with Mercer Lado. He's trying to peek down the inside. Cashew has a fast car. He's currently 5th in the timesheets at the moment. Let's see if we can improve there.
I'm certain we can improve right about now. We got about 6 minutes left in qualifying. I believe every car can potentially improve right now. Best lap going to the Silva at about 2:22.794, if I read that correctly.
Okay, so right now, okay, so Cashew still behind Lado. Lado is also having a very solid run in qualifying. He peels into the pits finally. Oh, Cashew takes a good amount of curve in the pit as he exits the final turn. Will Cashew improve? The answer will be a resounding no. He lost a good amount of time battling Lado. Meanwhile, looking at the other drivers, Hanori Miyuki setting a pretty slow lap time here, 4.6 seconds off the pace of the Silva. We did mention that the Silva is currently the championship leader. Now, obviously, representing the Time Warden Oro Crony, the Silva is still itching to extract as much of that pace from that Lexus. Meanwhile, as Kate Garcia finishes her lap, gets herself into the top 10.
I'm definitely seeing a lot of shifting movement happening around the leaderboards right now. Fastest lap obviously takes pole position, but it's going to be very interesting to see the laps and potential conflict, arguably, with the way some of these cars are doing for the last 5 minutes of qualifying.
Yeah, good to know about that, as Marion Morris, though, still stuck in the pits. He hasn't got out of his car. I'm not sure if he has a problem with his car or not.
Does he actually? Do we need to check for anything?
Because right now he's not moving. His car is not out on track. He's still stuck in the pits. There's a bit of a problem in the car. We've had some reports. So, Yeah, Marion Morris, if he doesn't set a lap time anytime soon, he will have to start at the back of the grid. And given that Marion Morris is inside the top 5 in the championship standings, this will hurt his place at the top.
Let's hope his car gets fixed within, like, I'd argue, give or take about 3 minutes or so right now is what I give to him, essentially. By the way, as is Mazif, we didn't really point this out earlier. He jumped up to 5th place from basically nowhere, so kudos to Aziz Mazif.
Kudos to him indeed. Obviously, he had a very messy first 2 rounds of the season. Crashed out on the first few laps on both of these instances. Crashed out, and I believe it was lap 3, lap 4 at most part, and crashed before he even made it into turn 1 at Road America. Fortunately, Aziz Mazif managed to cobble together a points finish, but it does not change the fact that he's currently last in the standings. Obviously, for all the Tupais watching Aziz Mazif, they're eager to see Mazif qualify again in the top spot and try to hold on to as high of a position that he can at the moment. So Aziz Mazif currently qualifying 5th as the Rob gets himself back up to 13th place. Now remember, the Rob was battling for the lead with Makonlee at Red Bull Ring, but in trying to catch himself back up into the front after he pitted, he made contact with the Silva, had damage on his suspension, and that basically put him out of contention from the rest of the race. Meanwhile, this Mazif, again an improvement, puts himself into the 2nd row, 3rd place. Good job.
Aziz Mazif, I believe representing Iris, correct?
No, not exactly. Ayudarisu.
Oh, my bad. Well, I guess November empowered him or something, because he is currently flying off the track right now, currently in 3rd place right now. Very good stuff coming from Aziz Mazif. Truly, just improving after improving on his lap times. He is a very competent competitor right about now. And as we are wrapping up the qualifying, we got I'd give it about 2 laps left to make an improvement.
So Aziz Mazif basically trying to extract as much as he can in his now warmed up tires. Now meanwhile, Hanari Miyuki hasn't had much improvement so far. You can see there's also been some damage on her rear end, so that's not gonna help her do any favor. But then again, Fawaz Mori, also the one making his first Hololive GT3 starts 16th. And at the same time, we also want to pay attention to Brooke Lurs, who basically improved, put himself in the 2nd row alongside Aziz Mazif.
Oh, never mind, Muhammad Kashu just taking 1st place out of... Honestly, I forgot where he was, but all that matters now. 1st place, pole position right now. Good stuff coming from Muhammad Kashu.
Good job from Cashew. Provisional pole for Muhammad Cashew, but let's see if other drivers have anything to say about it. Mercer Ladeau puts his car inside the top 5. Very good run from basically the Danashi Bome Honda. We're gonna go free camera just a bit to see Don DeRock qualify 12th place. Very good stuff there from DeRock to put himself a few positions ahead of everyone else. And also some other guys who are still out. A few guys are already in the pits. Aziz Mazif is currently barreling down the chicane, the bus stop chicane, to finish his lap. Let's see where his lap time stands. No improvements. 2:23.096 for Aziz Mazif. For the rest of the drivers, let's see Emerson Kurt. Emerson Kurt is up next, and he's currently just exited Blanchimont, and that number 15, IRNU 15 Nissan, the timer has run out, and so basically this is the last chance to basically set up a good lap time. Emerson Kurt wanted to get inside the top 5. Let's see what he can do. No improvements here. Neither does Maurice Tremblay.
Maurice Tremblay 2:24 for a lap time. It's all right. It's I'd argue.
And
what
the
is
Silva
going on over there?
The Silva, I believe, have rolled her car and basically lost control. You can see there's a good amount of damage. That's her session over, but that doesn't change the fact that she's starting on the front row with Muhammad Cashew up front. And meanwhile, here we see Lance Oryx on his first Hololive GT3 qualifying session. He qualifies in the top 5.
Well, it seems we have a lot of talented drivers joining Hololive GT3 within these couple months, and it's pretty amazing to see new blood just do exceptionally well.
And meanwhile, Brooklers, the old guard, basically showing what this car has got, qualifies inside top 5, bumps Oryx down to 6. Mercer Lado about to finish his run, as does Brendan Makonlee. Brendan Makonlee about to finish his qualifying lap. Where will he place himself? It will be a 9th for Brendan Makonlee, currently leading the standings. It's not looking good, as the Silva is currently in 2nd place. Garcia and the Rob. Garcia basically comes across over the line, no improvements there. And also, Don the Rob peeling into the pit, and that is also his qualifying session done. As it was the last car out on track. Let's see if we can make some improvements.
Absolutely speeding down the racetrack. He is determined to get just a better score than he already has. He is power hungry, but I mean in a good way, I suppose. Currently bumbling down the track at about
223, 174. 174. He does not make an improvement, but this will mean that he will place himself inside the first 2 rows. So that's the qualifying session over. Now, before we're gonna get into a rundown of basically all of the drivers before we start this race, let's talk about the starting lineup here for Hololive GT3. Muhammad Cashew is setting his, I believe, first pole position in Hololive GT3 with a 222.435. Great job there for Muhammad Cashew. Carolina De Silva is currently the championship leader, currently in 2nd. In the front row as well, so good job from De Silva. Santi Olivares is in the hunt for the championship, and also looking to capitalize on more points from where all of his other rivals going down. Below the order, Santi Olivares has got some work to do in 3rd. Aziz Wazif in his also showing his qualifying pace in Spa-Francorchamps, the series so far, being a very good qualifier, but will he deliver in the race in 4th place? Brooklyn with a very solid car, the Ceres Fauna Lexus. Let's see what he can do from 5th. The rookie, Lance Oryx in the Anya Malfisa Lexus starts 6th. Mercer Ladone and Nana Shimue Honda starts 7th. Maurice Tremblay in the Ushinova Muna Honda will start 8th. Brendan Makonlee, Jeremy Assam, Gura and Ina cars qualifying 9th and 10th. Emerson Kurt in his new RNU 50 ride will start 11th place, and in 12th it will be Kate Garcia in the Vestia Zeta Lexus. Well, sorry, it's the Vestia Zeta Nissan. Apologies there. And then we also want to talk about the guy in 13th place, Don the Rob in the Hackelsbales Nissan will start 13th. And then Monica Shalage, 14th place for Jenny in her Kyla Kowalski Lexus in 14th. Jason Fisher in the Crazy Ollie Nissan starts 15th, and Pawa Mori in his first start will start 16th. And then we want to look into 17th place. 17th place, Aaron Mazzi in the Iris Nissan. And then Hanari Miyuki in her first Hololive GT3 start will start 18th. And Marion Morris, due to a problem in the car just won't start in qualifying. Fortunately, has his car startable in the race, will be last on the grid. So before we're gonna get this race underway, I want to hear your thoughts.
I kind of want to see a Morris come back. To be honest, it would be so interesting to see someone come from 19th all the way to like 10th or something. It's like an origin story or something.
Yeah, it will be a good comeback story if he will start from 19th on back and basically do the comeback drive that he makes. And so we see 19 cars lining up on the grid here in Spa-Francorchamps. It's the Hololive GT3 International Series here in the Ardennes Forest. Cashew is on pole, De Silva in 2nd. Who will make use of the rundown into Lake Combe as the cars take the green? Oh, and as you can see, Marion Morris going off wide. Again, there's a bit of a steering issue for Mario Moore. That's not going to do him any favors. And that's basically him out before turn 1. Meanwhile, as all the other drivers juggle through the basically Orange and Radion as they come up into the legendary corner, the Silva and Cashew literally hammered onto each other. Drivers going side by side at Orange Radion. Aziz Moise is going to try to challenge Brooklers, who's already up to 3rd place. Alvarez has dropped a few spots. Lardell is up to 6th. Oryx is going to be in the hunt for positions as well. Cashew in the lead, the Silva 2nd, Brooklers 3rd, Moisif 4th, Alvarez 5th, Lardell 6th, Oryx 7th. And you can see Maurice Trombley trying to challenge Oryx for the 7th place. It's a try by fire for the rookie. Meanwhile, Makonlee is in 9th and Asim in 10th.
Truly startling start going on, which it usually is. It's usually pretty hectic within like the first like 3 laps or so, but eventually everything settles down. But it would be all the conflicts that are going to happen right now, and it seems we have just this giant line going on right now within the back few cars right now. It's basically going to be a battle for honor rather than position, I believe, over there come time.
As you can see, Mama Cash already built up a 2nd lead over the Silva. Very good run there from the Maldivian. The Silva holding on to 2nd place. And now the dilemma is, would the Silva want to go for that 2nd win of the season and risk crashing out, or will the Silva basically just stay in 2nd place to maintain her championship lead? And as you can see here, Makonlee is down in 9th place, so the tiebreaker will go to the Silva regardless. And with Santi Alvarez close by, there's also another curveball in the mix.
Very hectic front row going on. I don't see any conflict within the next couple laps happening, though. Everything's kind of mellowed out right around now, but we should definitely watch to see if anything happens within the front rows.
So right now, here we go on board the number 88 Wasamilia Honda. Basically, Olivar staying in 5th place as he stands at the moment. And the Olivar is trying to catch up to Aziz Moise for having a very solid run there as well. As we're starting lap 2 of this race, 1 lap complete, 7 kilometers of confirmed laps complete as well. And as you can see here, I don't see anyone getting very close enough to make a move into the inside, but here we see some moon being done. As you can see here, the sun's really setting here in the Ardennes Forest. Let's see. Some few single file racing, but we might be seeing some side by side here. Look at Fawaz Mori. Fawaz Mori is now alongside Monica Shalake for basically 3 additional points. Remember, we will be awarded 4 points if we finish 14th. And here we see another side-by-side action between Shalage and Mori. Very good run there for Mori on the inside into Bruxelles. He has the inside line. Now Aaron Mazzi is joining the party as well. And so Mori is now up to 14th place. Shalage will be at risk to be outside the points altogether.
I don't know. I don't see what's going on right now, but it seems it's going to be a very hectic place over trying to get to 15th. I'm pretty sure that Mori just potentially saved himself by taking over Shalava, perhaps because Mazzi is on the hunt right now.
Mazzi, of course, I believe started in 17th. It's now up to 16th, so very good stuff there to make the move down the inside. Well, basically getting close to Shalage at least. But Mori, though, obviously inside the points of the Pavilion Arena Honda, very good stuff from him. Excuse me, as we're about to see how this race unfolds. Obviously, Aramazi holding on to 16th place. And Lens Oryx also getting close to Marcelo Dill. Let's see how this battle unfolds. As Mama catches at the fastest lap of the race, 2:22.841.
It seems that people are getting slowed down right now because their mates in front of them, which could definitely lead to potential conflicts going on for people behind catching up. So it will be very interesting to watch if anything really happens within that time frame.
Okay, so as Mozart trying to catch up to Brookless here at the moment in the Camel Strait is a very good hunting ground if you want to use the slipstream to make a move down the inside. Look at Brookless. Brookless is getting close. Will he make a dive bomb down the inside? The answer is no.
Huge holdups going on within, I believe, the midsection leaderboards right now, but it's just gonna be glorious to see who's gonna come on top right there. But more importantly ever, Bruckler is right now just an amazing combatant, quote unquote, all around. He's just been feisty, ferocious. He's just really good driving skills. Amazing to see. Could also potentially overtake the Silva like really soon. So
we'll have to wait and see if he can get a good run off of, I believe, Stavelo into basically the long run down into Blanchimont. So obviously, as you see here, the sun is really shining down. The sun is really setting here in Spa-Francorchamps, and obviously, here we see some other drivers here. As it was catching up into Brooklyn and the Silva. Remember, the Honda have better engines than the Lexus cars. And let's see what Aziz Moaziv can do to try to catch up. Let's see, Buckler is getting very close to the Silva. The Silva is losing touch to Muhammad Cashew. We'll talk about strategies later here, as they're all making the chase towards the bus stop chicane, but they're not close enough.
I never got to say this while in qualifying. Do you think that the new gravel wall is gonna pose a potential hazard during the duration of this race?
Yes. We want to talk about the track upgrades in Spa-Francorchamps. Now, these upgrades are in the midst of Spa-Francorchamps wanting to open up its track for motorcycle racing once again. And these gravel traps are basically mainly designed for bike racing in mind, and as for cars, it provides a good deterrent for drivers to basically stay inside the track. So because if you go outside, there could be penalties in mind. And here in Spa-Francorchamps, the track limits here, you can see there's a lot of tarmac, there is a lot of gravel traps. Basically, it's to police the limits of these racing cars to make sure they stay within bounds. As you can see here, Fawaz Moore is now on the inside of Don the Rob. Fawaz Moore continues his charge up from the back to the front.
It's nose and nose right now, but I believe Maury has the inside line, and they take it. Don the Rob knocked down to 13th. I'm sure he's going to want that position back, though.
Yes, he's going to try to fight back. Yes, he's second again, and he's now with Maury. Now, I want to mention that Brooks tells the negative camber corner. It's basically off camber, so it's higher at the inside of that racing on that corner than the outside, where it's a bit lower. So obviously, there's more grip on the inside than the outside. Good for Fawaz Mori to bring his car in 12th, and good for the Marakiats because we want to take a look into the progress chart. He started 16th and is now up to 12th place. Very good stuff there from the guy who's making his first start in Hololive GT3.
Currently our biggest winner, quote unquote, right now, up 4 places. Second, quote unquote, biggest winner, only up 2 right now, so double. Truly a remarkable accommodation right now. But I believe that I could definitely see some more potential plays within the future for Fowles.
And here we're going to also talk about Lance Orris getting very close there to Marcel Ledoux once again. Will the Anya Melfisa car make the charge against the Nanashi Mumbai Honda? Lance Orris really wants to take care of the car, don't want to hit the curbs too hard. As we may have mentioned, yes, we have a new driver for the Marakiats. Raymond Pavo, as we've mentioned, have departed from Hololive GT3, and basically the Hololive GT3 reserve driver Fawaz Mori basically is in his place. So overall, as you can see here, Fawaz Mori is doing a very good job representing Pavole, Rene, and the Maratyats. Let's see what he can do in 12th place at the moment. As you can see here, he's already catching up to Emerson Kurt in the Irani 50 Nissan.
As I said before, really great potential coming from Fawaz Mori right now. I do believe they have the skill necessary to pass Emerson Kurt right now, but this will be a very interesting development. I'm seeing slow tailing right now. I don't think she can make a move right about now.
Okay, no moves at the moment. There could be a move in this next few turns. We did mention that the track is currently very cold. 7 degrees currently in the Ardennes forest. There's 7 degrees at Spa-Francorchamps. So obviously we're seeing a good amount of support for Fawaz Mori there from the chat room. Basically, nice to see that Fawaz Mori is getting the support that he needs to bring that car up front. Now, obviously, we did mention that the car has a good amount of hardships. Now, we did mention that it didn't finish inside the points of the first 2 runs, but managed to get a solid top 10 finish in the Red Bull Ring. Let's see if Fawaz Mori can do it again here in Spa-Francorchamps, but this time he gets a top 5. As you can see, Lance Orts trying to also get very close to Mercer Ledoux. And Fawaz Mori, okay, really, now he's getting very close to Emerson Kurt there.
Seems to have a very, very great ride right now, shown to be tailing Emerson Kurt like a bloodhound right now. I don't think they're going to be able to make a move this lap, but maybe next lap.
222.701 for Muhammad Cashew, and here is a move. Here is the battle here between the Rob and Shalage, and as you can see, and the Rob has spun. The Rob has spun, but trying to defend his position from Shalage. He basically made a mistake. Apologies for not being able to catch that move. But whatever the case is, the Rob has spun out, basically taking up too much curb, and basically gave that position away to Shalage. And now the Rob is gonna try to bounce back.
The Rob has a very chaotic driving style, so I would just love to see what he can pull out of his bag of tricks right now. As you can see, throwing up sparks right now. I would like to imagine that as his rage. He wants his spot back right now, I'm sure.
But he has basically had a very poor exit off of Radion, and that's not going to do himself any favors if he wants to catch up to Shalage and line up a move down the inside of Shalage. But whatever the case, his car is still in one piece. Now let's talk about strategy. Obviously, with the track being very cold, and tire warm-up will be very slow. And due to this, if you get out of the pits and you don't warm up your tires fast enough, you'll be slower on the initial part of your second stint than you are throughout your first stint, even on slightly worn out tires. So if I want to suggest pitting, I would suggest pitting later than usual, so that basically you don't have to warm up your tires during the middle of the race. You can try to warm up your tires near the end of the race, so that you'll try to lose as less time as possible. And as you can see, back to Fawaz Mori. Fawaz Mori is really closing into Emerson Kurt now in the Irani EO15 Nissan. We did mention about the driver transfers during the start of the screen here. Now Fawaz Mori trying to get a good exit off of the Stavolo and heading into Blanchimont. Blanchimont's coming up. Let's see what Fawaz Mori can do.
I've said this so many times. I still think that it's going to take like another lap or two to take that position right now. It seems to just be a constant stalemate, but that could change very soon. I'm seeing significant catching up right now.
Yes, significant catching up indeed. Ledoux, Tremblay, Makonlee already set the personal best. Sandy Olivars is losing touch to the drivers in front, so Ledoux may be able to challenge for the top 5 spot. But meanwhile, Fawaz Mori is going to try to get a good exit off of Radion. Well, but before that, they need to navigate the dip that is Eau Rouge right over there and into the uphill section that's Radion. Let's look at the gaps with full observation. Mori having a very solid exit off of Radion, it seems, and now he's really closing in into Emerson Kerr. He's now behind the Ironeo 50 Nissan, but will he line a move down the inside? Not close enough.
Definitely needs maybe a little bit more room, giving Kurt a little bit too much room to breathe, at least to me. Merciful, but we don't need mercy within, well, we kind of do, but we don't need it in the world of Holo GT3.
And speaking of mercy, there's no mercy on the racetrack at the moment. Hana Miyuki is learning that the hard way. She is currently outside the points in 18th place, last runner so far, and we have confirmation that we haven't confirmed this before yet, that Marion Morris is out of the race due to suspension and steering problems. So obviously, commiserations for the number 50 team for Takanashi Kara and the KFP. It's just not meant to be for Mary Morris, so it'll be very likely that Mary Morris will drop out of the top 5 after this race.
It really depends on who gets points, but even then, it seems that we have a lot of people already high on the standings right now, scoring the most points. So I'm pretty sure, Morris, unless something really big happens within the front lines, coincidentally, that he's gonna be dropping points.
And speaking of some driving is being bad. Here is another move by Fawaz Mori. Fawaz Mori trying to make a move. There's a bit of a tussle between the 85 and the 58 and the 01. Shalaga defending like a mad woman against Fawaz Mori. Fawaz Mori got himself very close onto the inside. It was alongside by the bus stop chicane, but obviously there was contact. But right now they're both still A-okay, as we did mention, as you can see on the screen. Mama Cash is setting another fast lap of the race. The Grim Reaper is unstoppable at the moment, so Mama Cashew is looking very solid, having a very solid call for the race win.
Mori got decked down one place, but I'm sure they can regain it possibly. Cashew very comfortably in first place right now, as you said. Currently 6 seconds ahead of second place De Silva right now. It's smooth sailing for Cashew for the most part.
Yes, right now they're all giving being a good amount of people trying to root for Fawaz Mori to get a move done back inside the top 10. But obviously we still have 2/3 of this race to go. We're only 7 laps into this race. Obviously the race, we still have a long way into it as the sun is closing in. The sun is setting, and we did mention that these are basically race cars built for the racetrack. So when we see those red hot brakes as they brake into a slow corner after a very long straight, they can last very long, especially for GT3 spec ones, as even for sprint versions of these brakes, they can last for like 12 hours, and endurance ones can last for about 12 hours. Sprint ones can last for about 6. So obviously Fawaz Mori with his GT3 car is able to brake with that amount of performance for as long as he can. Well, speaking of night races, once we have enough of a spec, then we'll consider.
I have no idea what you just said right now, but I'm just gonna agree with it anyway. But nothing's really happening right now. Everything's settled down for the most part, kinda, except maybe.
There's battle.
Shalaga take a little bit of contact going on between Kurt and Mori right now. Nothing too severe. Shalaga.
Not exactly. There was no contact between Shilaki and Kurt, and neither between Kurt and Mori. But there was sparks, but that was because they grinded the ground way too hard. And as you can see, there's a bit of there's a bit of contact between Shilaki and Kurt, and that will upset his exit into Eau Rouge Radion. And this will be look at Fawaz Mori. Fawaz Mori will have the position that he sorely needs. The gap is only 0.2 of a second. He makes a move down the outside. We need to switch back down the inside, but we'll have to wait and see. As you can see here, now he makes a move down the inside. Fawaz Mori versus Emerson Kerr down into the Lake Com section. There we go. A move down the inside. Emerson Kerr holds on to the outside. He puts up a good fight. It's just that the straight line speed of the Nissan is just so good. But can Fawaz Mori sling it down the inside? He's too far back.
Well, that was a very good attempt from Fawaz Mori, but he's gonna have to test his luck again when the time comes.
And right now, Monica Shalage have basically built up a gap between Shalage and Kerr. Now the gap is now 2 seconds between the 58 and the 15. So obviously, we have drivers who have yet to make their pit stops. Brooklers and the Silva still holding on to the battle for third and second. Who gets the first guy who didn't win this, who is not going to win this race? But it will be a little win regardless if they could get a good result for the respective Oshis, especially for the Silva, who's looking to hold on into the championship lead.
The rate. Oh, I was about to say. Alright. Well, I'm just gonna stop myself right there. Brookler's car is like kind of messed up.
Kind of a
now.
mess
It's
right now, but that's because he has
yeah.
had some contact with some of the other drivers. But right now he's now the first driver to peel into the pits for some fresh tires. But he's been making a move to go for the undercut strategy. Basically, pit as early as possible. To if you can warm up your tires fast enough, Brooklers might have a chance to be faster than anyone else and have a chance to attack the Silva and catch you for the race lead.
We still have about 19 laps to go. I'm really worried if he messes up his fuel estimation.
Yeah, if it's up his fuel estimation and basically the tires. If he doesn't get his fuel right, his tires will be severely worn. As you can see, Brooklers exits ahead of Kate Garcia, Aaron Mazzi, Jason Fisher, and Hanaori Miyuki. So Brooklers might just be some guy that might be able to influence this battle.
It really depends on how fast his tires warm up right now. The cold track could potentially be
Fawaz Mori holding on to the outside line, having a very good exit off of Radion. Manages to finally get the pass done on Emerson Kerr. Fawaz Mori is on the charge. He's a man on a mission. He's driving like a man possessed. Obviously, the Maratyat and Pavolia Rene have his back. And right now, he's showing what he can do on the racetrack on his first Hololive GT3 race. Fawaz Mori now in 11th place.
Don't think that they are catching up to Shalage anytime soon. Currently a 5-second gap right now, but it's possible. It's going to take a lot of time. I'd estimate at least 5 laps or so.
And right now, Brooklers holding on to the gaps at the moment. We'll see his the lap. We're not going to see the lap that he finishes right now. We're also going to see the next lap that he finishes to see how much of a pace that he has had, how much of a pace advantage that he has over everyone else. To see if he can continue making the undercut, getting in the undercut strategy toward Mamakashi 222, 299. So very good lap there from Mamakashi again. The deadbeats are absolutely enjoying it as Mamakashi, representing Mori Calliope, really builds up a very solid lead, 8 seconds over the Silva at the moment.
Cashew, it's smooth sailing. I do find the possibility of a lap car for Miyuki, like a 20% chance of happening right now. I'm kind of worried about Miyuki right now.
Okay.
Currently 6 seconds
off of Jason Fisher.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for Miyuki right now.
And currently for the leaders, due to Spa's nature of it being a very long racetrack, the chances of you coming across lap traffic, well, it usually comes around maybe the next few laps or so. By then I mean the next 30 laps, assuming the slowest car and the fastest cars' gaps are not that big. But I don't see it happening unless Hanoi loses a lot of time. And as we see here we see the onboard shot of Olivares in 4th place in the Watanabe Honda. Obviously everyone is kind of strung out at the moment. But meanwhile, we could be seeing another battle here. Let's see what Fosbury can do to catch up to Monica Shalage in 10th.
Currently, I remember that gap being about 2, maybe 2 to like 5 seconds right now. It's currently at about. Oh shoot! I was looking at the wrong run. Oh, my bad. It's Shalage and Asm. That was more in Shalage. My bad. But Shalage definitely has a chance to take over Asm right now. Just needs to wait for the right time.
And as you can see here, Shalage has a very good launch off of Launchimon. Again, another fastest lap for Wamakashu. Fastest lap at the fastest lap for Wamakashu in the morning Calliope Lexus. The deadbeats, with every passing lap, their heart just beats even harder. So obviously Wamakashu was all in his race lead. And as you can see, Shalage having a very good exit off of Launchimon compared to Asum, who has a very poor exit off of Launchimon. We did mention this multiple times. The Lexus is very good off of corners as Mr. Lado peels in for his scheduled pit stop.
Odd amount of, let's see if I can choose the right one, the undercut strategy right now, but it's weird with the track temperature right now, but I'm sure we can see our contestants make it work.
And currently Mercelado getting himself back out on the track and looks to be just about clear of Hanori Miyuki. Never mind, Hanori Miyuki has already passed Mercer. Meanwhile, as we're paying attention into the live gaps at the moment, with the battles going on between Oryx and Trombley actually trying to go down the inside of Oryx, but fails to do so. Basically bunches up the pack. Makonlee, Asum, and Shalage. Look at Brendan Makonlee down the inside. Pushes Trombley out onto the outside of Roselle, and it's Brendan Makonlee making the pass on Maurice Trombley. So Brendan Makonlee, trying to limit the damage that he has over the Silva, is up to 6.
I believe that was because of Trombley's failed attack, correct?
Yes, there was a failed attack, and then Brendan Makonlee made the most out of that mistake.
Very impressive stuff coming from Makonlee in the Gura car.
And currently, we're looking into some of the other battles here. Moazif in 3rd at the moment. Olivares in 4th. I need to double check to see what happens. So, okay. So back on the race. As here we are, Wamakashu, the leader, has made the choice to pit on lap 13 of this race.
Depending on how fast he's out of the pits, I can see either greatness or great shortcomings.
Yes, and as you can see here, more Strawberry now trying to make a move onto Brendan Makonlee. Makonlee, basically, like we mentioned, very struggling very much out of Blanchimont. And as you can see here, Brooklers and Don DeRob. Here's another battle that we want to talk about. Don DeRob made contact just a bit with Brooklers. And obviously, Don DeRob lost out to Brooklers, as Brooklers have the fresher tires. 225, 108 for Brooklers, but that's only because he's battling with the Rob, and now he's basically marred back in traffic. Let's see what Maurice Trombley can do to clear Wamakashu, who have the super cool tires.
It's currently Tire Wear versus Tire Wharf right now. We're gonna see who comes on top. Oh, did Garcia go into the pits?
Yeah, Kate Garcia also peeling in into the pits, and as you can see, Jeremy Assetto not going down the inside of Maurice Tremblay. Maurice Tremblay going backwards in this race. But here we see Tremblay defending, and now we see Monica Shalage is in the mix, and that allows Fawaz Mori to close in on everyone, basically, because they're all distracted in their battles. Fawaz Mori with the clean air, they're all battling for, they're all basically losing time to Fawaz Mori. So Fawaz Mori, now inside the top 10, could be able to pick them off one by one.
A lot of chaos stretching the front, middle, row going on right now. It's all bunched up together, just battling for position after position. I am seeing a definite probable outcome of Shalage taking over Azam like really soon. Currently closing the gap.
Yeah, closing the gap to the drivers in front as they're battling for position, and Mori settling in for those clean laps. Here we're gonna take a look into the onboard for Muhammad Kashir, the number 4 Mori Kali of the Lexus. Look at the speed difference of the exit of the corners between the Lexus and the Nissan. Pay attention to this part, because the next corner is Blanchimont. The Nissans definitely struggle on exit, and the Lexus absolutely enjoys the exit of a corner. Let's see how much the Nissans struggle. And here you see Muhammad Cashew now on the outside of Brendan Makonlee as the Silva now peels into the pits. Oh, and that meant Makonlee had to slide up just a bit because there was slight contact. And that will mean Makonlee now loses a position from Cashew. But will he make a dive on down the inside again? The Silva is still down in the pit lane. Makonlee makes a dive down the inside. A battle between Shark and the Grim Reaper apprentice. But the battle's not over yet.
I was paying attention to pits right now. Currently 3 drivers in the pits, that being Tremblay,
Mori actually. Mori has also appealed into the pits, by the way.
And someone else just came out the pits. Like, just came out the pits.
They just came out. Continue.
Nothing much is going on right now. A lot of drivers getting out of the pits kind of late right now. Only about halfway through the race. It's gonna be a real struggle to watch these drivers see what they can do with fresh tires but fresh colders.
Meanwhile, Emerson Kurt and Brooklers battle it out. Brooklers has overtaken Emerson Kurt for 8th place. And now Kurt is a bit under pressure from Don the Rob. Now we want to take a look into who have already pitted. And as you can see here, the Silva have already pitted. Brooklers have already pitted as well, as does my Casio. So obviously watch out for these drivers, as we could be seeing a tussle between those who have worn tires and those who have fresher tires. And just a bit of a check of the sun status at the moment. The sun is absolutely lower than it was during the start of the race. That's because time is moving forward.
Really?
Yeah, obviously the time is moving forward, the sun is setting, there could be minimal visibility, and that is also going to present another problem for the driver. But fortunately, these GT3 cars have headlights, and because they have headlights, they can be able to basically see what they are at night. But I don't know, actually I have remembered that I've turned off lighting effects, so basically the headlights protruding and the lights protruding from the cars may not be fully visible, so that's a bit of an issue. But whatever the case here, here's Lance Oryx pitting from 3rd place.
Cashew almost made it up to where they were in the 1st place right now. Currently a 13-second gap right now. And then all of ours with 10-second.
Yes, as does Jeremy Asif, who have already pitted as well. Obviously, a lot of these drivers are trying to cycle in through their pit stops. Now, share the stream to anyone that you can find at the moment. Obviously, the Brazilian Grand Prix sprint race is coming up in the next few hours as well. But before that, we have the Hololive GT3 International Series race here in Spa-Francorchamps. And here we see, excuse me, A bit of a tussle there between some of their drivers. Jeremy Assam exits in 16th place. Now under pressure from Fawaz Mori. And actually, there is a bit of a battle here between Maurice Tremblay and Jeremy Assam, actually. The camera is not working with us at the moment. They're side by side. And Jeremy Assam has the edge, but he doesn't have a good line onto Orange Radion. Oh, as you can see here, nearly losing control there. Maurice Tremblay trying to overtake Jeremy Assam at Radion. Now it's getting very, very dark here in Spa-Francorchamps here.
It's yeah, starting to get a little bit darker. Only about 3:35 p.m. This is your average autumn.
Yeah,
but, well, fall, autumn, tomato, but I don't see any real battles going on right now. I think the next one would probably be, yeah, Shalage.
But watch out for this one. Yeah, he's currently in 5th place. She's currently in 5th at the moment, trying to challenge Brendan Makonlee for 4th place. Now, Makonlee is in his best position yet. Remember, I believe he has already pitted. Actually, no, he has yet to pit. So, obviously, both of these drivers have yet to pit. And as you can see here, Makonlee with that Nissan struggles on the exit of Blanchimont. And now Aziz Moazev, the next driver to pit. But as you can see here, they're all taking it easy at the moment. Now Shalage's turn. Now it's Shalage's turn to pit.
Shalage, very promising participant right now. I believe they started in around 13th, 12ish, managed to make it up to 5th before pitting. Amazing. I know some of it came from pitting, but so coming from 12th to 5th, that's 7 places you have to jump up. That's pretty impressive, commendable.
But remember, some of these drivers have yet to pit, and Emerson Kerr, Aziz Moazev is currently still in the pit, is going to lose a few positions as well. Now, in the topic of night racing and fluorescent LEDs on the number plates, we'll have to do a few bits of adjustment to the cars because the number plates that we have are a bit smaller than what we usually have. Obviously, here we see Shalage just exiting the pit lane in 13th place, so very solid at the moment. Now, we did mention that Hana Ryuki have also yet to pit. So, as you can see here, side by side into Orange Radion, and now Shalage, watch out for her as here comes Shalage into Lado. Now, the sun's absolutely setting here in Spa-Francorchamps. Okay, back into the LED story. And the LEDs are not a big of an issue. But the fluorescent paint mod, that will be taxing onto the graphics, as well as the issue of bitrate on night races. But meanwhile, Lance Orris and Jason Fisher, cars number 12 and 13 on Hall Row. Jason Fisher has the inside line into Bruxelles. That means it's Jason Fisher's 10th place as it stands.
Another battle happened, I believe, between Silva and the Rob happened, where the Silva jumped up 1 place, the Rob lost 1. Rob currently in 8th, the Silva currently in 2nd.
And currently the Silva, remember, the Silva have already pitted. Emerson Kerr have yet to pit. And right now, Emerson Kerr is holding up the Silva. The Silva is now caught up in traffic as Asante Olivares pits from the race lead. Casio will instantly reassume the race lead at the moment. And as you can see here, they're going side by side. As you can see, the Silva is going to try to make a move before Blanchimont, or rather at Blanchimont. And as you can see here, the Silva trying to make a move into Emerson Kerr. As you can see, the Silva having a very good run off of Blanchimont. We did mention this multiple times throughout. Taking it easy on the curves. Don't take it too hard. Remember what happened last time when a Lexus car takes the curve too hard.
Honestly, no. But more importantly, however, currently Cashew reassumed first place, and assuming he calculated his fuel
and
correctly,
actually, we did want to mention that Fisher successfully defended Oryx for position as well. And as you can see here, the Rob have overtaken Santi Olivares as well. The battle's definitely heating up in the second half of this race. As you can see here, the Rob having a very solid run against Olivares, having a better exit off of a Radion. And right now, as we're seeing a side-by-side battle between the Silva and Emerson Kurt. Will the Silva consolidate 5th place and place herself inside the top 5? Headlights are on for these cars. The track is absolutely dark. It's not bright enough for them to not run these lights. And here we see the Silva now back up to 5th place.
Needs second to be where they were eventually. Oh, Azam and Shalage having a bit of a tumble right now. Well, that sounds wrong, but Shalage and Azam are currently battling it out right now. Azam, it's back and forth right now. Shalage has the nose, so going into the turn, I think it's Azam that takes it, but back and forth, like I've said, but I think Azam successfully held up Shalage enough, doesn't get that position.
Very good stuff there from these drivers, showing very clean racing here in Spa-Francorchamps. And as you can see, Brookless getting very close with Brendan Makonlee. Brendan Makonlee have yet to pit. Brookless have already pitted as well. Brookless wants to be in the mix for, but all you can see here, they were side by side at Blanchimont. You don't see that every day. And Brookless and Brendan Makonlee understand the limits of each other's cars to make sure no collision happens. Brookless now up to 2nd place.
Brookless absolutely masterfully turned, just overtake Makonlee in such a beautiful fashion. Kudos to Brookless, currently in 2nd right now. And again, assuming he calculated his fuel correctly, he should be. What happened here? The Rob had a little bit of red flasher. I think he had a little collision.
Yeah, and actually we did mention it on the Rob. He has officially got himself into the pits. I think Don the Rob had basically messed up his fuel calculations. So the Rob is now out of contention for the points throughout. So commiserations from him. And here we see a tussle for position with Hanori Miyuki. She's not lapped at the moment, but she is one of the last cars who have yet to pit. So right now, here we see Jeremy Assam trying to go side by side with... Oh, he's going to go side by side with Marcelo Doe in the 61 Nanashimume Honda. And basically, each of these drivers want to use Hanori Miyuki as a pick. And here we see Monica Shalage making a move around the outside of Ledoux. There's a massive battle here for position here, and more battles side by side. Now we see Maurice Tremblay in the mix. Now, how far is Maury? Will he make a move down the inside? Meanwhile, here we see more Tremblay and Ledoux. The 2 Hondas, or rather Acuras in some of these cars regards, go hammer and toms between each other. More positions are being swapped. Shalage between 14th and 15th. It's going to be Maury on the inside line, as does Maurice Tremblay. They're going to shuffle a few cars off line and off sequence. And now Tremblay has the 12th place. Maury now has 14th.
It's a very chaotic back right now. Looking in here, except for bottom 3. Currently bottom 3. Garcia currently 18 seconds behind Shalage. Right now, it's not looking good for anyone past that. Also, I'm just curious, what happened to Mazzy right now?
Mazzy is currently dropped down. He has had a bit of an issue with his car. Now Brooke lives with a fastest slot 2:21.772. Brendan Makonlee finally peels in into the pits. Here we see Olivares trying to give chase to Emerson Kurt, but Emerson Kurt holds tight in that number 15 irony of 15%, trying to hold on into the overcut strategy as much as he can, and that will be it for his first stint. Emerson Kurt now inside the pit lane.
Took quite a while to pit, which could either be very good or very bad for him, depending on the circumstances. We still got about 10 laps left in this race. That's plenty of time to catch up.
There's contact!
Hopefully.
Oh, you can see here, Assam! Oh, Assam and... Oh, there was a bit of a contact there between the 2 Nissan drivers. Miyuki wanted to pit, Assam wanted to stay out on track. There was a disagreement, and this would mean that Assam is now out of the running of this race entirely.
absolutely cutthroat right now. Miyuki did not care for Azum at all. Slammed him outside the race because they wanted the pit. That's truly cutthroat. Murder.
Not exactly murder, but that basically put Asum out of the race. That was a collision between the two. Will be an investigation being made. Right now, no investigations are being made. It's just basically two cars basically now have damage, and they'll have their car serviced immediately. And I think, as it stands, every driver have already pitted. So right now, we'll be showing you guys the progress chart to see who have gained the most. Fawas Mori is the driver today. As it stands, you can see here the sun is absolutely setting here in Spa-Francorchamps from 16th to 10th. So obviously Mori giving the Maraiets a good showing at the moment. As Kate Garcia and Emerson Kurt battle side by side. Kurt's trying to get his tires warmed up. Garcia trying to go for position. Garcia's now up to 12th.
Garcia, I know they were around the bottom of the leaderboard, currently now up to 12th. I believe that was because of early pitting. That just didn't work out as well as they were intending for.
221.
Currently,
hang on. 221.589 for Brooklers, fastest lap of the race so far. Brooklers might just be the contender on this final stages for the race win against Muhammad Cashew. And right now, I want to take a look into Muhammad Cashew's lap time at the moment. The timetable says that his best lap was only a 222.119. His last lap was a 223.244. Brooklers is over a second faster than Muhammad Cashew at the moment as it stands.
well, at this rate, they gotta hurry up for the most part. We only got about 9 laps left. Realistically, if they keep going the same rate they're going, Brooklers has a 2-lap window to take first, but the more time the better, as I've seen beautiful defenses from these cars before.
And currently here we see Brooklers really having this pace here in the first sector. 41.7 for Mamakashi on the first sector this lap. Brooklers 41.3. Fastest first sector so far. Lap by lap, Brooklers is showing that he has pace in that Sears Honda car.
Well, I'd argue even if Brooklers didn't get first, it's still a sapling win with all these just beautiful lap times being played out by Brooklers right now. I'd argue more of like a Heroes champion if he doesn't win, but...
People's champion. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And speaking of Brendan Makonlee here, we see on track. Brendan Makonlee is doing his best to limit the damage in the championship at the moment. He's currently second, He's currently tied for the championship lead with the Silva, who's currently in 4th place. And as this race concludes, this would mean that once this race concludes, and we're really heading into the nighttime here. Obviously, it's an evening race, and it now becomes closer to a night race here at the moment. Makonlee, holding on to 7th place, will be able to defend, not exactly defend well, he may be able to defend 2nd place, because Santi Olivares is currently up in 5th, and there was a bit of a gap between Olivares and Makonlee. He will be able to defend 2nd, but definitely won't be able to hold on to this championship lead for long, as Brooklers pits again. He must have another field miscalculation here for another one of these drivers. So Brooklers, who we thought was a contender for the win, miscalculated on his fuel run and is now out of it.
This is what I was talking about right here. Brooklers pitted on like lap 9. I was worried about his fuel like the whole time. Currently out of the pits in 5th place. Not too much of a loss, but...
Yeah, we agree with you. We did mention that even if he has to pit for the 2nd time, it would mean that he will still be the people's champion here. Another one of those driver of the day moments. Speaking of drivers of the day, 225 for Fawas Mori, and for Marcel Adele, it was a 224.9. So basically only a 10th between these two drivers. Now, Actually, we want to take a look into some of the perspectives here to see how much the sun have already set. Now, at this point, the sun isn't even visible from this angle. So obviously, it's now absolutely nighttime. So very tough luck for all these drivers. Very tough luck. Not exactly tough luck, but it's going to be presenting a different challenge as we're now transitioning over from daytime to nighttime racing here in this track we call Spa-Francorchamps. And we're looking at some of the drivers here at the moment. But don't worry, Brooklers is still there. Brooklers is still inside the top 5. So even if he does have the pin, he's still able to at least contest for maybe 4th place. And here we want to take a look into the tire age here right now. The Silva has 7 laps older tires than Brooklers, and Hololive has 4 laps older tires than Brooklers. So Brooklers has the best car at the moment in this final third of this race.
What about the track temperature, though? That's going to be a real deciding factor.
Meanwhile, yeah, it will be a real deciding factor as for the tire warm-up here as well. As you can see, Emerson Kerr and Kate Garcia traded positions once again, and Emerson Kerr holds on to 12th place. Remember, Kate Garcia pitted way later than we thought. Obviously, 6 laps are the tire age difference between Emerson Kerr and Kate Garcia, with Kerr having the fresher tires of the two. Meanwhile, we're looking at the gaps. Oh, the gap is close to 2 minutes. 2 minutes between Cashew and Miyuki. Obviously, Asum is out of this race entirely, so commiserations for Asum, who basically got bodied by Miyuki. Meanwhile, as for the interval gaps between all these drivers, we could be seeing a battle between Fosmore and Mercer Lado.
Okay, serious. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I was. My mind was other places, but Mori. Where did Mori go? She's still in 10th place. Yeah, Lado. I remember being around 17th, currently up to 9th. That's still not where Lado was originally, though. So I don't think the undercut paid off, and I think Mori has fresher tires that should have warmed up around now. So I do think that Mori has the upper hand.
Mori does have the upper hand as well. We want to mention here at the moment, it's not 2 liters, it's actually 2 laps of tire age. So obviously we want to take a look back into the tire age at the moment. Makonlee has 3 laps old tires compared to Lado's 10 lap old tires, which means that the tires are basically at the end of its lifespan, or rather nearing the end of its lifespan. See, the lower the number, the fresher the tires are. You can see the headlights on these cars as the Rob tries to make a move down the inside of the Zeta Nissan, but the Zeta Nissan has the inside line, but the Rob's holding steady into the inside of the final section of Lake Como into Bruxelles. The Rob might have the chance to go down the inside of Bruxelles, the off-camber corner. And it's the Rob taking 13th place.
I've said this before this race. The Rob, very crazy, reckless driver, a lot like my driving style, kind of, except he pulls it off better than I can.
Yeah, basically it's chaos, but with a bit of order, instead of just pure downright feral chaos. Meanwhile, we want to mention that Fosmore have kind of slightly lost touch to Mercer Lado. He's currently down in 10th place, and Lado is 9th. Morris Trauma will be in 8th. Well, Random Makonlee, I think he's catching up to Lynch Orris 1 by 1. Brooklyn's holding on to this top 5 very solidly. I think he's catching up to Santi Olivares here at the moment. We're currently at lap 23. 7 laps to go.
Druckler is 3 seconds in about 6 laps. You need about half a second in order to even catch up to him. So I'd like to see how Bruckler catches up to Olivares.
And also, pay attention to Mama Cashew. He pitted 10 laps ago. Lado pitted 11 laps ago. Will that fuel hold up?
Honestly, you can only hope. I'm not sure. It could be like Brooklers where a miscalculation of fuel just kind of messes you up like really lightly, but it could also mess you up really bad. You know?
And for some of the guys who are going to record the points here at the moment, let's record the finishers at the moment. Let's record the guys who have let's go record the results here at the moment. Be prepared and be on standby as we're seeing the final stages of this race take place. We're gonna go slightly on board with a few other drivers here. Let's go on board with the fastest car on the field right now, Brooklers. Brooklers having a 222.184 the previous lap, and Assetto Corsa having a 223.3. Watch out for Brooklers. He's a man on a mission.
Yeah, currently 3.258 right now. Guys, we got conflict right now. Jason Fisher right now trying to fight off Mozzie. It seems Mozzie got the upper hand though. Mozzie currently in 15th place. This is a battle for honor and exactly 1 point.
Yes, 1 point exactly for Aaron Massey as it stands here at the moment, unless Fisher have something to say about it for basically the Sims, as we want to call it, all these fan base, but we'll have to wait and see. The Silva 222.8 for the championship leader. Oliver 223.501, 222.697, nearly a second faster for Brooklers compared to Olivares.
Definitely catching up right now. It was like a 3.3 earlier, currently at about 2.952 right now. Definitely catching up at a very steady pace, but I don't think that steady pace is going to be enough right now if he really wants to catch up.
And currently we're looking at some of the live gaps between some of the drivers here. How Fosmore is already catching up just a bit to Mercer Ledoux. Mercer Ledoux' tires are giving up, while Fosmore is still holding up quite well. The tire fall has just begun for Mercer Ledoux, and for Mama Cashew, it hasn't just yet, but for Mercer Ledoux, it definitely does. Fosmore is already 3/10 faster than previous lap over Mercer Ledoux, Fosmore. So obviously, we're into this final field lap. Let's see how this final field lap unfold for more of these drivers.
I say it's gonna be very eventful for the back, but I'm not so sure right now for the most part. But there are a couple of really close gaps. So this is basically maybe like 2 more offensive during the last 5 laps.
Yes, you may be right about that one, as here we see, hang on, we're going to be taking a look here into the track here at the moment. It's definitely, the sun has definitely set here. So obviously there will be minimal visibility. The drivers already have their headlights on. Now we would be having the lighting effects on, but it's way too taxing. So apologies on that area. Meanwhile, Moazif, we did want to mention about Aziz Moazif also. After having such a very topsy-turvy first 3 races of the season, to see him second currently is also very nice. To see basically all the Tupais and Aziz Moazif representing Ayudarisi be in this position after a rocky start of the season, this will be a huge relief for the 64 team.
I'm gonna pull a Moazif next Japan postseason. Just trust me.
We'll have to wait and see if he makes the move. But whatever the case is, Brooklyn is definitely caught up to Santi Olivares. Santi Olivares is holding on for dear life for that 4th place. And with Makonlee down in 7th place, Olivares will not want to basically lose more points than he should, so that he can be further away from Makonlee in the top of the standings. But for Brooklers, he wants to get himself back into the top 5, and he's currently inside the top 5 in the race. He wants to get back in the top 5 for the championship. So obviously we have this race continuing to go ahead as it stands, and you can see also Fawaz Mori. Fawaz Mori is definitely caught up to Mercer Lado. The gap is now only 3 seconds a second. Will there be a move down the inside?
Honestly, I don't think so. Actually, it might. It's not. It failed attempt. But I'd say in the next couple turns, there's definitely going to be a launched offensive right now. I've also been monitoring Fisher. It got to as close as about 0.150. So very, very tailing Mozzie right now, but just can't launch a successful offensive.
And currently Jason Fisher now alongside Aaron Mazzi, 2 Nissan cars going hammer and tongs between each other. Who will be ahead? Who will be having the upper hand as we're about to see these 2 cars head into Lake Combe? They're alongside. They have to give them space, and it's Aaron Mazzi consolidating his spot in the final points paying position, and Jason Fisher's not close enough. But meanwhile, Brooklers now on the inside, and Brooklers spins it. He takes too much curve and basically rolls his car over.
Is that Brooklers out of the race?
Yes, it is Brooklers.
Okay. This is quite the unfortunate accident.
Oh dear, he's basically parked his car in the curb. He's parked his car in the curb. There's Brandon Makonlee, manages to avoid. We'll see if all the other drivers can manage to avoid the stricken Brooklers, who basically damaged his suspension after trying to attack Olivares, and that's Brooklers' chances of a race win over.
This is a very, very, very sad day for saplings everywhere.
And with that out of the way, Emerson Kurt now in 11th place, Makonlee in 6th, Olivares in 4th. Makonlee will be smiling about this as he's now able to hold on to 2nd place with an even more confident look as one of his competitors dropped down.
Well, this is I've said, okay, this is just a bit mind-boggling for me, you know. So I didn't expect it.
Yeah, I expect the unexpected here as we're currently 25 laps into this race. Only 4 laps to go, including this lap, and Brooklyn is still stricken in that race car on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Meanwhile, Fawaz Mori is getting very close there to Mercer Lado. Let's see where they will end up come the end of this lap. Let's see if Fawaz Mori can pull off the offensive.
If they've been trying to launch a successful offensive. Oh wait, hold on. Mori? Oh yeah, Mori is in 9th because Brick was. Okay, I got confused for a minute. Mori's been trying to launch a successful offensive on Ladau for a while, and Ladau is holding up even with. Oh, we got conflict. Seems Jason Fisher takes the conflict though. 14th.
And Brooklers, he's currently back out on track despite all the damage, but with his crash out there, all he can do is grab fastest laps over fastest lap as he's actually already being lapped by Muhammad Cashew.
Hold on, we got a lap car?
Yes, Brooklers is lapped.
Oh, what do you know? I was right. It's just I was right about the wrong thing. This could potentially be something that. Well, I don't think it would necessarily shift the game too much, but it could definitely cause gaps to be shorter. It's just, it's too far in the race to really make a difference.
And here we see one of the remaining cars out on track. That's the driven by Hanori Miyuki, the Kobo Kanairu Nissan. It's still holding on to 16th place on the lead lap. If another one of these drivers have crashed, Miyuki will be scoring her first points on debut with, I believe, the slowest car on track.
Was the slowest until a bunch of crashes happened. We got 2 clashes. We got 2 crashes right now, that being Brooklers and Azam. This is a very chaotic and intense.
Yes, and in speaking of intense chaos, here is Mori trying to make a move onto Lado. They're side by side. That forces Lado to be on the outside line. But let's see if Mori is able to get into the inside of Lado into Bruxelles. He's not close enough. Lado hangs on to 8 plates.
Lado has worn tires, like really worn, like at least like 15 laps, I think.
Yes.
They're basically dead, but
Yeah, they're
he's still
basically
holding on.
So also very good
He's
stuff
still-
there for very good stuff there for Marcelo to hold on to basically this position. The 8th place against Falls Mori, who have the fresher tires, and now Monica Shalak is joining in the party.
Monica Shalage proven to be one of the most is an apex predator currently right now, and she might be able to take Bowers Mori. I doubt it though, because there's only about 2 laps left.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. Mama Cashew is already into the exit of Lake Coleman into Bruxelles. Is now catching up to Hanaori Miyuki actually. Here is Mama Cashew, so the gap is only like a few seconds between Hanaori Miyuki and Mama Cashew. Now look at how close these cars are after 27 laps of racing.
It's a very isolated race. It's more like leisure Sunday driving kind of for some cars and intense for others, depending on what position you're at.
And speaking of fighting for position, Paul's Mori on to their penultimate lap of this race. Mori's going to be absolutely desperate to try to get past Mercer Lado. Mercer Lado, obviously holding on to these worn tires. Don't know if he has anything left on those rubber that he has at the moment. Shalag is also going to try to be in the mix to try to pass these 2 Hondas.
Shalage might be able to pass one of them, but I don't think she could pull off a double pass in such a short period of time.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Fawas Mori definitely closing in. Will he get close enough? The answer is a no, actually. As you can see here, Mori's too far back. Mori's too far back for a dive to Lado. Obviously, he only has 2 chances left. He needs to make sure this final chance on that final lap goes as well as it could definitely be. As Mama Cashew have officially started the final lap of the race, definitely, literally behind Hanaori Miyuki.
It's just confusing. A lot of sparks hit the track today. We had some collisions. We had multiple battles. It's been a good race to good spectacle to see and watch. And right now, if you want to launch an offensive, you better launch it now. And I think Cashew was trying to overtake the lap car.
And currently, they're going to put Hanaori Miyuki a lap down, and he will do it effortlessly. There's Mama Cashew making the effortless move. But meanwhile, Fawas Mori might just want to give this thing a shot one more time. Now, Fawas Mori, let's see if he can have a very solid exit off of Blanchimont. But pay attention to Monica Shalage. Monica Shalage might have an even better exit of the final of Blanchimont outside. Will it turn into the inside? The answer is no. She's not close enough to Fawas Mori and Mercer Lado.
Shalage is probably waiting for Mori's attack attempt to really just exploit it if it weakens. Basically, she's guaranteed a space, a bump up if one of them fails an attack.
And here we see Mama Cashew on the exit of Stavolo for basically tackling stage sector 3 for the final time. And here we see Fawas Mori getting close. We will need to check on Mama Cashew as he will want to get into Blanchimont for the final time. Will there be a move for Fawaz Mori? Will he be close enough? We'll have to wait and see. Muhammad Cashew representing Mori Calliope and her deadbeats. West Mori Calliope is a bit polarizing, but who would love to see a new car win in Hololive GT3? And that's what Muhammad Cashew is doing. Muhammad Cashew wins in Spa-Francorchamps.
Very good stuff to see all around. But overall, it's not over, not yet. We still got maybe one more battle on our hands before we zip this bag up.
As zips his bag up with the best finish of his career in Hololive GT3, a second place for the Ayuna Risu team and her Dubais. That's a good job from Waze. And Carolina da Silva will retake the championship lead over Brandon Makonlee. Another good run for Carolina da Silva to get back onto the podium.
The Silva managed to make it in the third. I don't know how she managed to make it. I swear she was in like fourth like a couple laps ago. I don't know.
And meanwhile, Lance Oris on his first Hololive GT3 start will consolidate a 5th place. Lance Oris will have a lot of people watching over him, as well as Anya Mephisto and everyone else. And Lance Oryx finishes 5th. Brandon Makonlee will look to finish 6th. Ledo hangs on to 8th as it stands. Trombley will finish 7th. Let's see what Shalaga can do. Will she make a last lap gasp for a pass? The answer is it's going to be tight. Shalaga and Mori side by side. They're pushing. They're making contact. Shalaga pushes Mori. Shalaga. That last lap pass on the final turn on the final lap pays off for Shalaga.
Truly a cutthroat maneuver since just Mori, Mori outside to try to take her position in their position, and it just worked miraculously.
As Kate Garcia finishes on 13th place, Jason Fisher 14th, and Aaron Mazdi, after all of this, finally manages to finish inside the points. So, it's basically an interesting race from start to finish. But look at Muhammad Cashew in that Mori Calliope car on 4th race of the season, carrying car number 4, the number of death at nighttime. What better way to get your first race win?
Being the only survivor.
Well, not exactly being the only survivor, but he has the fastest car throughout, and that is very important as well. As we're about to transition over into the race results, before we're going to take a look into the replay. It has been a very interesting race so far, and speaking of results, here it is. Muhammad Cashew were basically the only driver to finish in the sub 69 minutes, with Aziz Wazid in 2nd place and Ayunda Risu Honda. Best result for the number 64. Carolina da Silva manages to hold on into the championship lead with that 3rd place run. Santi Olivares in 4th in that Amoga-sponsored Watsamilia Honda, doing very well in 4th place. Lance Oryx in his first Hololive GT3 starting there. Anya Mephisto Lexus finishes 5th. Brendan Makonlee doing whatever he can for damage limitation in 6th. Morris Trombley in that number 69 Muda Honda finishes 7th. Marcelo holding on to those old tires in 8th. Another good run from him. Monica Shalaki with that last lap pass with Fawaz Mori for 9th. That would mean that Fawaz Mori will finish not 9th, but 10th. Emerson Kurt in his first start with IRNU 15 will start 11th, will finish 11th. Don DeRob in 12th in that Huckles Mills Nissan. In the Zeta Nissan, it's Kate Garcia in 13th. Jason Fisher ends up finishing in the points once again for Crazy Ollie in 14th. And Aaron Mazzi completing the points finishers in 15th place in the Iris Nissan. Hani Arimiki in her first Hololive GT3 start. It didn't work out for her, but she will have progress later on in that Kobokainairu Nissan. Brooklers in that number 85 Sarah Fauna Lexus. Thought we had a chance for a top 5 car, at least a car on the podium. Ends up basically being rolling over on its side, damaging the car in the process. Put them out. pulls him out. So Jeremy Assam in the number 17 in the Makonlee Nissan got tagged by Miyuki, who wanted to go into the pit while Jeremy Assam wanted to stay. As they were side by side, there was a nasty contact, and they pulls him out of the race. Mary Moore didn't even make it into the start of the first corner. So Mary Moore's definite championship blow to the number 50 Takanashi Kara, Lexus, and all of KFP. As we're about to get into the replay first of all, we're going to need to pay attention to what happened in the race start. Let's see what happened to basically Mary Morris on that start. So obviously, let's go on board with the number 50 Lexus as we're about to get this race underway. So here is the start. Oh yeah, it actually is a bit ugly. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, the car was straight, but it actually veered into the right. There are definite issues in the suspension. Therefore, that number 50 Takanashi Kara Lexus. Suspension issues at the start put him out of the running early on.
It seems, yeah, the suspension got really damaged. He couldn't even get off the first corner because of it, and it was acting up in the,
basically in the start, the suspension failed.
Qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, he barely started. He barely did a time in qualifying. Barely got out of the garage. It's just a bad day gone worse for the Takanashi Kara fans, the KFP. Here's Jeremy Assam though. Watch him as he tries to look into how Hanariki Miyuki goes. So you can see that Hanariki Miyuki really wants to go into the pit lane, but Jeremy Assam wants to stay out on track. They both make contact, so that puts Jeremy Assam out of the running.
Yeah, I saw. I swear the first contact was accidental, but I just saw Miyuki just shunt Asam over to pit lane, which is
and here, watch this one. Yeah, watch this one. This is Brookler's incident.
Man, that was a lot of curb. Honestly, that was like a very unlucky occurrence. If that were to at least it looks like to me, the car doesn't look like that badly damaged from the outside.
It's just that Brookler's was quite dizzy after that basically rollover, so can't blame him too much. And that is basically the replay for all these incidents complete. As we're about to look into the championship standings. So we're gonna take a look back at the championship standings on who is leading the championship. We're gonna need to pay attention as to who is leading at the moment. Oh, there is a huge swing in the championship with a new guy in second place. And as you can see, Carolina De Silva now holds on to the championship lead by only over 18 points over Mohamed Cashew. The gap between De Silva and Makonlee is now 60 points, with Makonlee in 420. Santi Olivares holds on to 4th place, so that's what we meant. Lance Oryx at 316 points now on that number 12 Anya Milfisa Lexus, highest Hololive Indonesia car currently in the field. Boris Tremblay's in the Muna Honda 6. Mary Moore's now down to 7 in that Kiara Lexus. Jeremy Assam in 8th in the Ina car. Aziz Moasev now inside the top 10 in the Hyundai Risu Honda. Very good job from him. Aaron Mazzi holds on into the top 10, but only barely. Emerson Kurt in 11th place, now taking over Keishan's basically taking over Keishan's car. Kate Garcia holds on to 12. Jason Fisher 13th. Chalaki 14th. What should have been a top 10 points finish for Brooklers now ends up becoming no points at all. Brooklers is now down to 15th. Hanari Miyuki in the first start down in 16th, only 4 points ahead of Fawaz Mori in 17th. Marcelado only 2 points behind Fawaz Mori in 18th. And Don now drops to last in the championship standings. As we're about to race in Interlagos in 3 weeks' time, Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, the Home S Formula One is racing this weekend. We're about to log off the stream at the moment. So it's been a very interesting race from start to finish. There was a lot of incidents, there was a lot of contact, a lot of very close racing. And apologies if the lighting has been quite iffy-ish. I can't seem to turn on lighting effects without having it definitely destroying my light laptop. So apologies here. Just want to try to put up a show with as much as we can. So obviously the next race will be in 3 weeks' time at Interlagos, Brazil. Watch out for that. It's a quite a legendary track in F1 and basically all motorsports as well. And with that out of the way, we hope everyone also here to tune in to the Hololive GT3 Japan Series postseason main race at Fuji Speedway in the next, I can say 14 hours from now. So whatever the case is, we hope everyone's tuning in to the Adak-RMS YouTube channel. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested to see more Hololive GT3, and drop a bell if you so that you won't be missing a beat on any of the Hololive GT3 races, as well as following the Adak-RMS Twitter to make sure everyone is updated on Hololive GT3 things. So with that out of the way, we're gonna log it up with this. I'm Mama Shadariza. Alongside me is Zeke Wimberly in the commentary booth, and you've been watching the 2022-2023 Hololive GT3 International Series.
Not many thoughts, honestly. I saw everything unveil and everything, but when's the main race for postseason? Same time today? I might, just 2 hours, right? I should be able to make it. I know I've been pushing myself. I wasn't even supposed to make it to the last one, but I'm not even running on caffeine. I'm fine. Alright, I'll see you tonight as well.